second. You hear me?
Yeah.
Good. I wanted to actually use the computer for that.
But I don't see you.
Yeah, I don't know why. Video. Just a second. I wanted to use the computer. Fuck what? Now.
Hey.
Yeah, wait just a second. It's it should be on, but it's not for some reason. Ah, here we go. Yeah, okay, it doesn't work with the computer, so we have.
Shit.
What's it called? It's crazy, this messenger. Can you see me?
Can you hear me?
It's just waiting for the broadcast to start, and it.
What the fuck? Oh. Hey man,
Oh, that's good.
what's
Finally.
happened? I don't understand. Now, but
Really?
this
Yeah.
there is a window. I don't know if you see this window in front of us.
I said waiting for broadcast to start. It says, and then actually now finally I can talk to you because before it was always kicking me out. But this is for my iPhone right now. It's not from the messenger.
What is from Messenger? Now we're talking from Messenger, but I see there is a window on your face. You see that?
There's a window on my face?
Yeah, there's a menu.
Yeah, there is some shit and I cannot get rid of it. It says waiting for broadcast to start.
And isn't started yet? This,
Hello. Yeah, it looks like it's working this time, huh?
but this is from True Messenger. But if the link I sent to you, it doesn't work.
No, it didn't work. It says it doesn't let me connect.
Okay, so listen, let's connect through Messenger. I will do another kind of connection, but
Okay.
yeah, okay, let's do through Messenger. I will call with the video. One second.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it doesn't work.
One second.
Good.
All right. So I guess I need to do another kind of a connection.
Yeah, somehow it doesn't look good. It's not
But I
working.
don't know why it doesn't go through. I see there is some Russian gate situation there.
Possible.
So how's it going?
Okay, but does it work like this for you, or we should try another way again? I mean, we can try.
Okay, let me think what I need to do here to do the good connection. Okay.
So, let's go it.
Only 1 minute, huh? Good. What time is there?
10.
Oh, right.
Also, I wanted to connect my other camera. It doesn't work either. It's a fucking shit. This Microsoft bullshit really. Facebook, Microsoft.
Okay. No, but the reason is that I'm doing in the same time I'm doing with YouTube.
Okay. Here now it works with the camera at least, because this camera can move, so I can show you Moscow. Right? Oh.
Okay, I'm almost done. All right. Just one other little thing. Just one other little setup.
Why don't you do it with Zoom?
I don't understand. What are we doing?
Why don't you do it with Zoom in general? Zoom is a good software for that, no?
Zoom. Well, basically, Zoom is as a kind of temporary. The free version is limited. A little bit.
Oh, you gotta pay, man.
Give up or something like that. At school, we use other software, Teams and other things. Okay. So I guess we are set, even if you have your room on your back. I have my studio in here. I was trying to do something a little more fancy, but I guess it's a little too messy when you try to do too many things. and whatever. But the most important thing is this. I mean, I will do a little introduction about it, about what is this idea and why I invited you. Basically, during COVID, what we are living, more than I mean, it's about 1 year that we are living with this situation of COVID, and at least for my experience, for the experience that we have in Italy, the whole art system, of course, everything is stopped, but mostly in the art world, basically we had a big crash, a big we have everything is stopped, everything didn't happen anything anymore, basically.
That's the same for us,
and pretty much it looks like it's worldwide, because everywhere more or less is living in the same situation. So since I'm doing my own things at home, after a little bit, after a while, after months of being in a studio and living with my family and doing my daily routine, I decided I need to have a sort of dialogue with other people, mostly with other people, creative people that I know, people that I haven't been able to speak with them and to kind of see what they're doing, in general. So I decided, I said, well, we have this tool that is the online situation, the online and internet tools, and we are maybe is an idea to start from scratch, start from zero, and see, just to start to have a dialogue, to have a conversation, because also thinking about how the art situation has been so far before the COVID situation, mostly being involved in in your own personal interest, in your own personal just looking about your connection, your business, and not much about dialoguing and conversation about what you're thinking, why you're doing that kind of stuff. And that's why I say why it's a good point, it's a good moment, just because we have a lot of time being in our studio, being at home, and not be able to go to show, to exhibitions everywhere. And so it's a good opportunity, I think, to just to start having a dialogue, just from not worrying about too much about connections, and you make this or you're doing that just for business, but just for the feeling, the good feeling of a conversation, and just to sharing idea, and sharing sharing also the feeling of the situation we are living, and what it can be in the future. If maybe since the COVID situation, the COVID problem, we were you from Russia and Moscow, and after I do the presentation of who are you, and basically since
I have to interrupt you for a second. I'm laughing too, because I'm broadcasting this too to Instagram Live right now. And when I had when I had COVID, and when the lockdown was, and even later when I had COVID and I could leave, I was always playing DJ sets from home, and I was showing them on Instagram. So whenever I go live on Instagram now, people expect me to play a DJ set, and everybody looking there right now, they're like, "Why are you talking? Is this fucking Clubhouse? Where is the one guy already wrote, hey, can we listen to a DJ set later on?" No, guys, today we're just talking.
I mean, well, say to your friends that this is maybe, who knows, but the main idea of this this dialoguing is to sharing conversation, and if we feel to do something extra or something else is fine. But otherwise, it's just the idea of sharing thought and ideas of what we are doing. It's mostly a talk. Yeah, it's mostly.
Which I'm not doing. I'm not doing enough when I'm DJing. Usually, I'm just playing, and I don't even have time to chat with them and to give feedback when because they want to communicate with me always. In real life as well as on Instagram.
Of course, Chris, I want also make it clear, because most of the people so far, I guess, are thinking to use this tool just as a window, as a shop, as a window of to display your own work. Like if I am a sculptor or a visual artist, I'm showing my paintings or my sculpture with this tool, with this video streaming or video, whatever. So basically, it's not this the main issue. It's not this the main idea, because I don't think this is the good way to use this possibility, opportunity of showing. Because of course you are a DJ. You want to probably or like a musician, you want to play live in front of people. Like me, I want to show my own work, my own art in a gallery or in a space where I can meet people in real life, not
yes and no. I mean, it was completely new for me, this whole streaming stuff. I mean, first off, you had experience with it already. I remember you were doing this for a long time, but I really had to get into it, and I also had to. Even so, I didn't make any money. I had to find a way to get some hardware, some extra hardware, some extra cameras, some extra. And a friend gave me his old computer, which I reinstalled, and I made halfway work for this. Upgraded my internet line. But the interesting thing about this was that I thought I'm going to play one DJ set for 2 hours, and I'm going to ask some of my friends in Berlin did that before. They were asking for donations, and if I'm going to ask for donations, then I'm going to get maybe $100 in donations in total, $5 here, $5 there. But $100 is $100, especially when you're suffering and you don't have enough money to pay the rent, So, but the interesting thing was that I ended up playing for, I don't know, man, like 7 hours, because every time I wanted to stop, somebody showed up. I mean, the whole world was there, because when I play in a bar or in a club, I have a maximum of 500 people there, usually. And I mean, the biggest crowd I ever played was like 1,000 people, and it's not so many people. That night it was a total of like 600 people who tuned in. And the people, they're coming, they're staying for like one track, and then they're leaving, and then later they come again. It's a totally different behavior because they go somewhere else. But then they are chatting with you, and they're writing you, and they give you feedback and say, hey, man, it's nice to see you. Thank you for playing for us. We're also sitting at home, and it's really cool. And long story short, it was a big gratification for me. And it was really nice to see to meet old friends that I haven't seen for a very long time, like you now. And there were people from Dubai, from Hong Kong, from the US, and really from all over the world. And it was amazing, really amazing. And I mean, that night, I think I made $700 in donations, and over the whole COVID year, I made 5,000 euros, around 5,000 euros in donations with playing live. So it was really cool. I really like it now.
Well, listen, before we start to go more in the discussion, I want to introduce you, because
please introduce me.
Just as a just to know who you are or why I called you, and where are you? I mean, what you're doing? I mean, Chris Helmbrecht, if I pronounce well, correct.
Italian accent, it sounds very beautiful.
Correct me if I pronounce not good, but Chris Helmbrecht is a friend of is a good friend that I met in New York City, and he's from München. You are from Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco, München, yes.
You are from München, Germany, and basically we met in New York. where we spent about 10 years, I guess. No, pretty much. No, I was there for 10 years. I think you too, no?
6. I was there 6, almost 6. Yeah.
6, 10. So basically, we were involved in that time you were doing technology and other kind of business. I was doing also my own work and just to pay my rent, making also doing design and stuff like that on the web. And after September 11, I think I guess I came back to Italy. I moved back to Italy, and you, after what time you moved to Russia?
I had a short stay in Tenerife for like 1.5 years in between, and then by pure accident I ended up in Moscow, where I'm really happy about it because it's a really great city. I'm really happy to be here despite of all the political problems and the pollution and stuff like that.
That's I'm curious also to know. That's what I'm also good. So you've been there for a few years, and actually
17 years I'm here right now.
17
years.
You're really kidding me?
No, time is running, man.
My God.
We met like 20 years ago almost.
So anyway, life.
The bad thing about it is we're getting old, Marcello.
Little gray hair. Anyway, so basically, you move it from west to east. Passing in the middle, because we met a few years ago in your home, your town, when I was coming back from Berlin, I think, or from Prague, I don't remember when I was coming. And we met. We say, hey, how are you, etc. So basically, you are in Moscow, and the situation there is probably very, very, was very different from where you came from before, and I guess you did all many things, and you end up doing what you were talking before, DJing and sound. How do you call it? Sound environment? This is Chris. This is not an interview. I'm just just a little introduction. Then we just talk openly.
It's cool. I'm playing. I'm DJ. I'm not producing because I'm too lazy, and producing really takes a lot of time, and it also needs to. You need to learn the software. You need to always enhance and play around, and it's not really my passion. And I'm not creating songs myself. I'm just playing. And I think this is a minus for a DJ. There are a lot of DJs who only play, but nowadays to become famous and to be a big guy, you have to produce music and put it out on the market somehow, and I'm not doing that. So, but I'm a known DJ in Moscow, that's for sure. Not only in Moscow, as I told you, even in the world. Not like, I don't know, David Guetta or somebody, but I know a lot of people know me. And,
so you basically you started before the COVID, before the lockdown. So basically, you started doing this environment, sound, DJ things in pubs or clubs. How do you call this?
Even in clubs. I was in Milano actually. I forgot to call you. I'm sorry. It was 2 years ago. I played in a hotel in Milano, a session. It was very nice. For one night only, I really flew in. I went to the 5-star hotel in the center of Milan. What's the name? Really a famous 5-star hotel. It was funny because there were not so many people. They flew me in to play a session. And some Russian tourists, they came and they said, "We know you from Moscow." Yeah. And I was like, I flew in. And after the session was finished at 11 or so, then after I went to the supermarket, I made shopping because I bought an extra bag. And then basically I flew back home the next morning at 6 with a bag full of wine, Parmigiano and salami. And
I have to say that a few times I see your posts here and there on Facebook or I don't know, Instagram, whatever you post your and it's funny because sometimes you say, who's coming from Paris, whatever, or who's going to Moscow that day because I need something to bring there. It's so funny to see sometimes that you are just making an open to like a sort of a participation, making a connection all over the world just to move, like if you are near your neighborhood, it's like oh please go back and bring this or bring the things to the guy, because it's so funny to see how you post
I mean, I think I have a really big network of people right now. I have like about almost 10,000 people on Facebook. I mean, I have the 5,000 friend limits, and then I have another 4,000, I don't know, 500 followers. I have another 3,000 on Instagram, and all the other communities. So I think in total I have around 10,000 people or more, and they are friends too. So I mean, I use this usually if it's something urgent. I wouldn't do it for bullshit, But recently, last week, for example, the father of a friend's friend was laying in a hospital here in Moscow, and they needed urgently some medicine from Germany, and it was really about his survival. And we managed to bring it here in like 2 days, and that's really cool that you can post this, and then people say, yeah, sure, I'm flying tomorrow, I'm bringing it. So
that's fine. But right now you are doing your performance only online or also live?
No. I mean, Moscow is a really crazy place. I mean, I have to say up front that the Russians don't give a shit about nothing. I mean, very often I think that we are in Europe, we are thinking our Russians are unpolite, or they are, I don't know, it's just a different culture, but they really don't care about nothing. And they don't really care about this COVID stuff. They're not so afraid of it. And the government, we had a lockdown for like a month and a half last year, about this time, where we were all sitting at home. But also Russians don't have any savings. So there's basically no way that they can make another lockdown, because people will make a revolution. Even the last lockdown, nobody really respected it, and I heard that the police was standing outside in front of Moscow with hundreds of policemen, and even the military, they were on standby. But then some big guy decided not to send them into the city to enforce this, because it would have been bad. The people would have gone crazy. And so the outcome of this is that now we're open. We had another period now from November until January where clubs and bars were closing at 11 o'clock. But now everything is open and running normally as it used to be. I mean, we have the statistics just came out officially. We had 90,000 dead people of COVID last year, but with the other statistic shows that 425,000 people more died last year than the year before. So on what? And the Russians don't really give a shit, So they're like,
basically, things are open. I mean, and working. Everything is on.
It's like normal. I mean, it used to be that you had to wear a mask when you go into the shop. And there were really fines, big fines, and the owners of the shops, they were really watching this, that you wear masks and gloves. But even now, only, I think, 30% of the people are wearing a mask when you go into the shop. It used to be that they were enforcing that you wear masks in the public transportation. Nobody is wearing masks in the public. Maybe, again, 30% of the people.
And what do you think? And what do you think? People are crazy, or just normal? Just
No, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. I mean, in the beginning of the pandemic, the government, and you must understand also that all news channels here are controlled by the government or by some rich guys which are close to the government. And in the beginning, they were saying, "No, fuck this COVID bullshit. The Europeans are getting crazy. You don't have to listen to that. It's typically Europe," because they use any opportunity to discredit Europe. For Russians, we Europeans, they call it gay Europa, because we are so open that we allow gays to be gay, and we have, I don't know, 16 different genders, and 16 different genders, or is it more right now? I don't know, it's changing all the time. I lost it because I'm living in Russia. So the Russians are really conservative and old school. Most of them are Orthodox, and the politic is using that, the government is using that, and so they were also using that for their propaganda. They were saying, fuck Europe and fuck their fear of this virus is all bullshit. And then it actually came, and people started to die here too. Some of my friends were in critical conditions, and they were almost dying. So that's when I understood that this is a serious thing. And after they came back out of the hospital, even while they were in the hospital, they were sending me videos and they were typing. They were not able to talk when they had the tube in the throat, you know. And then now, after the government understood it serious, they couldn't go back. So they couldn't say now, oh, this fuck Europe thing was wrong. And this is serious. You have to take it serious. And little by little, they changed and they were saying it's serious. You need to do this. But it's still in the heads of the people. And in general, Russians are fatalists. They don't care about tomorrow. They just care about today, and they just don't give a fuck.
When you talk about Russians, you're talking about Moscow or in general, like?
No, I think it's difficult. I mean, Moscow is the biggest city in Europe, so it is definitely, you know, it's like New York or even bigger. I mean, officially we have 16 million people here, but there's so many illegal immigrants, like in New York too, and unregistered Russians, because everybody in Russia comes here and it's the only place where you can make money, other than maybe one or two other cities, 3 other cities in Russia. So they say that based on the telephone numbers that are registered, we should have like 30 million people living here. So it's not only one of the biggest cities in Europe, it's one of the biggest cities in the world. So it's definitely a crazy environment in general, but and I think outside of Moscow, in the communities, people have a little bit more sense of community feeling. And so I think they take care of each other and they're a little bit more sensitive to each other, I think. I'm not sure. But on the other hand, I told you, when the government says don't take this serious in the beginning, and especially out there in the places where the internet is super slow or where the TV, they only have 2-3 channels, you know, they believe this shit and they say, okay, we don't have to take this serious. So in general, it's pretty free, but you pay a price. I had COVID myself, and you hear I'm sick right now. I hope it's not COVID. Actually, I was supposed to DJ today at a friend's house, and I wanted to combine our talk with the DJ session. And I canceled it because I don't feel well and because I don't want to put anybody in danger, just in case I have COVID for the second time right now.
But you need the vaccine or no? You need the vaccine or no?
No, I couldn't do it because I had COVID about 5 months ago, and I still have antibodies. And as long as you have antibodies, you cannot get vaccination. And I think that what I have is allergy, hay fever. And I don't have the symptoms that I had the last time, COVID. So I'm pretty sure it is this allergy shock and hay fever, and that's why I'm sick with allergy. But I don't know. So yeah, it's around, you know. And actually, we have a third wave right now. The reason why I'm concerned is we have a third wave, as you guys. And so this thing doesn't have borders, and we have this too. And a lot of people in my environment are sick. I know at least 6 or 7 people who had it 3 weeks ago in my close environment, really, really close environment. In fact, I was at a party where they were and where they infected each other. And last week on Friday, there was a girl in the bar with me, which also got COVID after she was tested positive. So
it's a quite spread, this situation, I guess, for the way you are telling me. But yeah, I mean, I guess how I understood, situation is quite open in terms of environment or shops or people moving around. After you, and I'm curious to know if you ever if you know some band, if you know people in the art world, like visual artists, if they do also shows, if they open their studios or not, you know, if they do things.
I'm invited to play on an arts event. It's a charity, an art event in the gallery. I'm playing the next week on Wednesday. So actually, maybe if you want, maybe we can try to set up another video call, and I can try to involve the people who are there. I don't know.
Chris, the thing is you know, I want to really try to use this opportunity in general, with you, but calling friends and making friends, making new friends, just to see how really this tool, the video internet, is can change, can improve our way of making, of socialize, and also giving us other opportunity. I mean, we are just dealing with in terms of science and technology, going to Mars, discovering how to put settlements in other planets, in the like Mars, etc. And of course, having these those opportunity to try other ways of doing art, doing communication, etc. It can be maybe just another way, and maybe a better way. Just like you were saying before, if I understood your experience of making, doing a job, doing your making your money, doing DJing, making your music, your performance, and collecting through foundation or founders. I don't know what they were, something like that. So of course, was another opportunity, another way of making, of course, expose yourself, show your work, and trying other ways of making, knowing friends, knowing people, and of course having other opening other possibilities.
There is a, you must, I think you always must adapt. I mean, in business as well as in life, as well as an artist, you always have to adapt. And there are circumstances that come from the outside. They are really pushing you, like 9/11, what we had last time, and now I think this is comparable with that. And if you are talking about the art, for example, I want to bring into the discussion right now one of my famous writers. His name is William Gibson. He wrote books. He's still writing, but he's not bringing out so much anymore because he got old.
I don't understand the name. Is
Russian? William Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah. He wrote Neuromancer, not for the ones who don't know him. He wrote Neuromancer, which was basis of movies like Johnny Mnemonic or like even The Matrix. A lot of The Matrix was influenced by Gibson and his books. And he wrote one book in particular, which I like very much. It was called Iodoro, where a rock star is... and it's all science fiction, yeah. A rock star is performing on the internet with his band, and already in this time, everything is done on the internet. So and he wrote this in the 90s, yeah. So all the audience in the internet, there are rooms like chat rooms, and there are virtual reality. People put on their goggles and they sit down in their chairs, and then they are just listening to the rock concert, and they even can somehow they manage to connect to your nerves, and they can even make you feel the vibration of the bass and the drums, and give you other feelings like a warm wind breeze and stuff like that. And in this movie, the guy in this book, the main hero, the rock star, he's falling in love with artificial intelligence, with the first artificial intelligence, which is actually very, very kind. So I think this is the future. I think this is where it goes for all of us, even for you, Marcello, and for your students and your friends. We have to get digital, unfortunately.
Well, you know how much I'm interested. And actually, I want to share with you this is my experience, because since, actually, for many years, since I was even before, New York, before I moved to United States, I was interested in using technology in art and doing sculpture and video stuff. And recently, I've been talking about 3-4 years ago, I started to do sculpture digitally, using 3D software. and building, different kind of shapes, and then using 3D printers, doing like from a normal PLA or ABS plastic, in general. Then using other services like in Netherlands, shapeways that you can print in metal, even in gold, silver or bronze or stainless steel. And even I did a few tests, a few little sculpture, because it's quite expensive anyway. Then finally I was able to make my school where I teach to buy a big printer, so we can use it with my students, doing courses, classes of 3D stuff.
That's very cool stuff to do, 3D printers.
And then doing sculptures with 3D printers too. You also collaborating with other teachers of architecture, with so two projects, different environments also of internal apartments or spaces where you can combine architecture and sculpture together. Actually, Saturday we have a meeting like this with an architect and another guy. Is a mathematic guy that is involved in AI, artificial intelligence. So basically, I want to do something with them, a discussion about this. And then we did this experience, and finally, I decided to buy a big printer for me, just to have in my studio, because of course I can experiment, but one thing is when you need to go work and do in some other place your stuff, and another ways to do your own studio and be able to experiment and do whatever you want. So finally, I'm also working with the clay, printing with clay and doing sculpture, with the traditional material, but with the new technology. So basically, this idea that in some way connect to the idea of going to another planet, using the shuttle, using our robot to be able to print new homes in another planet, in another, very far away from where you live or whatever, just using remote control or AI, artificial intelligence, to be able to actually build whatever you want to build, using the materials, etc. is another way, is an opportunity to see the future. That's the main reason why I like to have this conversation. Not just to think about now. Not to think what I need to do now just to survive, or just how can use this because I cannot do the show, or I cannot do my own normal stuff. I want to think about this, just to have this opportunity to just dream, just to dream about what can be in the future, what is the possibility I can think about, use, not like a science fiction that is something, just imagination from some writer or whatever, but really in every field, in every experience of us, every different possibilities that you can use for music, or for theater, for movies, or for visual art, or other kind of creative experience. The way this opportunity, also this way to stop and just thinking how can be the future, and how you can deal and interact with this whole process. Yeah.
Well, there is a theory from Kurzweil, and now probably because my friend Tobias Buri just came in. He's a programmer, and he is on my chat room, and he knows. He talked about all of this stuff in the past, so he probably will listen. Hello. There's a theory of Ray Kurzweil. I don't know if you heard about him. He's a futurist. He's an old guy right now, and he was the inventor of, just for the people who don't know him, he was the inventor of the Kurzweil synthesizer. He was the inventor of OCR software, and now he's writing books. And a couple of years ago, I got an email. Two of my friends worked at Microsoft, and both of them came as managers. And both of them came to me and they said, "Oh, we got an email for longer than 10 years ago. We got an email from Bill Gates, because even though Bill Gates was not involved in the daily business anymore, he was still sending emails to everybody. I mean, to everybody, the whole Microsoft team, from the little secretary up to the top managers. We got an email from Bill Gates, and he said we should have a look at this book because it is really the future. And we should read this. And the name of this book was Singularity is Near. So I read this book. The reason why, I mean, now, to be honest with you, I read the first 2/3 of this book. Then it got too fucking crazy, and then I put it away. The guy is mad, in my opinion. I mean, some of his theories I can support and I can understand. And I think probably it will become true, but then it's getting really crazy. So I read the synopsis, it's going to be enough. You have this 1,200 and something pages. So 2/3 is a lot already. I tuned out when the machines, but basically what he's saying is that development is not linear, but it is a curve. And we are on the curve up right now. And very soon, in the next 30 years, the machines will take over. And we will merge with the, I give you the rundown, we will merge with the machines. So based on that theory, you are, what you're doing right now, because I understand you are an artist who's always upfront and modern and was playing with technology. On the other side, you are still old school because you want people to be able to see something and to have something in front of them. And that's why you're printing out these sculptures that you're making. I guess we can discuss about this, but based on Kurzweil's theory, this will all be obsolete because there will be no reality anymore. There will only be cyberspace. And so this, what I said about EO2,
I hope not. I hope not.
For Gibson, it means that we will live in these rooms. We will not have a physical presence here anymore. You understand?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
no,
means one more sentence. That also, if you take that further, that also will make travel to Mars or any other planets obsolete as well, because we will not need this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, of course, traveling on other planets, they're doing now. There is an interest, maybe for economical, to find materials or whatever, the minerals or whatever they need for the industry. But okay, it's not, of course, our immediate.
Sorry, if I interrupt you for a second, but I have 326 people listening to us on Instagram right now.
Really?
Our 313. You're not so interesting. You're losing people.
That's your platform, and that's your tool, because you use it Instagram. I haven't used it Instagram, so basically that's
but it's interesting because when I play, I have maximum 20 people listening in right now, because when I'm talking and I'm not playing.
Listen, I'm not using this tool, this dialogue streaming stuff to that's why I make it clear. I'm not using these tools to make followers. You know, I'm not using this to find 1,000. That's my way. You know, your way. Okay, I guess it's different. Your way is different. My way is to use this tool to have an open platform, an open space to experiment or to share or to figure out things, but without caring about if I have followers or not. Indeed, I'm not making such a sharing using this as a making or spreading to the world.
What do you have to say now to your excuse that I'm saying that you're a little bit old school because you're still printing out your art instead of having it only in the virtual world? So it means you don't take. I'm sorry if I'm teasing you now, but you're my old friend. So you still don't take the cyberspace and the internet serious enough.
But you have people chatting and writing things because you look you're reading
now 338 people. But I can tell you, I know exactly why. By the way, the algorithm is, and that's the truth. The algorithm
I cannot see the people that you are looking. That's why my sharing, my streaming online through through Facebook or YouTube is not. Maybe there are 3-4 people, I guess, in the total.
I'm surprised.
I don't see. If you tell me where to read these people,
Now you need to look on my Instagram profile. You will find my stream, and you need to look there.
On your Instagram.
It's now 331. I'm really. Let me take a picture of that because I'm surprised myself. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. And I'm not playing music today. We are talking with Marcello. Sorry, now I make an introduction for Marcello. We're talking with my friend Marcello. He's my old friend from New York about arts. The original idea was to talk about art in the cyberspace time, in the COVID time. But then we ended up talking about cyberspace, and because of that, the algorithm tuned you in, and you're all listening to us right now. So, but stay tuned because we have lots of nice conversations. I will also show you Marcello. He's here on the other screen. So, Marcello, tell me.
You are sharing on by the phone or by where?
It's on the phone on Instagram, yeah. And I'm trying to find the camera. The camera. I hear it also, but come on. This is. Ta-da! Sorry, I have to take a picture of you guys. I have 363 followers. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, and I know why, Tobias, my friend Tobias, your programmer, was talking about. The minute we started to talk about Kurzweil and we started to talk about all of these things, those were the keywords. The algorithm was listening to that, analyzing it. They have really good speech analyzers already, and we decided that this is something interesting that other people should see, and that's why we started to show this to all my people who are online, and that's why we have 338 people right now. That is fucking crazy, by the way, and you should use this for yourself because you can really do something with that.
I'm putting your
my Instagram. Yeah, have a look, check it out. Actually, you can join on Instagram. Even if you go on Instagram, you can ask to join, and I can get you in to talk. And then we can do it.
I don't want to talk because otherwise change the old meaning. Actually,
so my friend Marcello is a professor in Milan at art school university, and he is a really cool artist. By the way, Marcello, do you remember this exhibition that you made in Milano it's a gallery. I organized the stream out of my window in my apartment. I've just been in Moscow for like 4 years or 5 years. So it must have been the end of 2008, 2007, something. And I put the camera outside and you were streaming that into the gallery. And then there was an accident on the street and everybody was standing there and watching this because then they were beating each other up. Do you remember that?
You were in New York or where?
No, in Moscow. You were asking me. You had an exhibition in the gallery in Rome.
We did a few of those. So we have those connections. I've been doing this kind of installation. We're using the chat and the video chat stuff from few shows in South Naples or Rome, I think, and then to Milano in a museum. I don't remember which one you're talking about, but yes, we did a few. I remember once.
I put the stream outside of the window, and there was just traffic, and there was traffic jam, rush hour, and there were lots of cars. But then two guys bumped into each other, and then it took like an hour until the police came. And but first some lawyers came and some mafia guys came, and then they started to beat each other up. And one guy was knocked out, and everybody was standing. Everybody was standing in front of the screen, and they were asking you. I remember they were asking you if you staged that. But it was the Moscow reality. It was funny. By the way, 783 people right now, my friend.
I remember you did once also from the airport. You were in the airport somewhere.
Yeah. So, I think that's anyway. I wanted to challenge you, to have the courage to do art only digital, maybe, and not to think about it anymore.
No. I don't agree. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I believe digital. I believe immaterial art is very important. Is a good opportunity, like cybernetics and all that kind of stuff. Is all important. Artificial intelligence is all very cool, but I still want to be in connection with the nature, with myself, my body, my skin, my flesh, my blood, all the juice I have in my body, that's what for me is the most important. I give always the priority on this. I don't give a shit on technology if I need to lose this way of living. I still want to be in touch with the nature. I still love to sail, just to go on my boat and sailing and feeling the wind, feeling the water. I just want to make real love. I want to have sex, but real sex, no fake digital sex. So that's why I really think art should and still needs to be like life. In a good connection with our nature, our real life. For me, real life is only what I can feel with all my sense. But in another way, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be against nothing. I don't want to be against technology. I don't want to be against whatever could be other ways of experience or making other way of trying to experience other way of living, of course, but never forget or never to change or to substitute with the real life. This needs to be always in a connection and in relation together. Then, of course, art is an idea, is an experience, is an expression, and it can be done in any way you want. Each artist do whatever he wants. So if you want, there's still many painters that are using oils, or musicians that play guitar, or acoustic guitar, or poets they write their poems the traditional ways. And it doesn't mean because you're using computers or technology that doesn't exist anymore. That's why I feel it's only a way of course, before, like in other ages, in other centuries, other illness that were spread in the world, they were just killing or making people sick, and you were basically just isolated in your home or in your house or in your little environment. With these tools, I'm still able to go work, to do my work, to do my business, to live, to be in connection with my friends, my family, all over the world. And I think this is very important. Just the difference. I experienced. You mentioned before when we were in September 11 in New York. And in that time, still I remember actually I was in my house. at one point, all technology were fucked up. Were stopped. Cell phone, internet was all and not working anymore. And of course, that is the problem if, like for terrorism, for example, certain technology is attacked and you cannot use anymore. At that point, you need to do something different. I remember I have to go in the center because my wife was in the middle of a place that couldn't come, and I had to move myself to go bring her up, to take her up with my car, and walking in the street with the people crazy. They were, escaping from the city, and that was the situation. And I actually remember even before in the 80s when I was in the earthquakes in Naples, we didn't have any technology. Actually, we had the analog telephone now with the little coin and you can put in. And I was one day, one night without be able to speak with my parents, and I was a little kid, but I survived. Like many other people, we survived even in that time when we didn't have this technology. No, we survived. We could live, but of course, I remember at that time I was in high school, and I remember at least 3 months I couldn't go to school, but I didn't see my friends, my teachers, all the people. Just I was in my house, being careful about earthquakes and be worried about how to organize myself. But of course, a lot of things couldn't be done because we didn't have the same tools we have today, that you are able to, in some way, to continue your apparently or in parts, partially, your life, just to be able to do this. Dear Chris, I don't understand.
I'm listening. I'm just, they say audio is gone. That's why I'm checking if there's a problem with the audio. Yeah, I think that's very old school. I think that is, I think number one, you're absolutely right. And I remember how it was. One of the shocking moments for me in 9/11 was that all of a sudden the internet didn't work. I mean, they said the internet will always work, and it worked to a certain extent, but it was super slow. You could send a 2-line email. Basically, I remember I sent to my ex-girlfriend in Germany, I sent a 2-line email, tell my mom I'm okay. And it took, I don't know, half an hour to go out, and finally it went out, and that's it. And the only thing, the telephone didn't work, cell phones didn't work.
Chris, you're talking about when? I don't understand what you.
9/11.
Okay.
So the only thing that really worked was radio that time. Yeah, and this is what I learned out of that. But this is a new generation right now. We are this generation that grew up with it. I mean, I'm telling my daughter when I didn't have cell phones. It only came when I was 23, 22, 23. I had my first cell phone, and it was huge. And I had a battery life. It was had a battery life of, I don't know, 2 hours, and that's it. And she doesn't believe it. Yeah. So for some reason the sound went off. I don't know why on my chat here. Give me a second. I need to try to find a solution for that. I think I should probably, I don't want to finish it because now I have 700 people listening, watching.
But you want, I don't understand, you want to try to do some
Wait,
performance. That's what you want to do?
So maybe now it's working.
Okay, I see now. It's possible also to use this online, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So is it working now? I don't know. Can anybody hear me?
No.
Can you hear me?
You don't speaking to me, okay?
No, I'm sorry. I'm like, because I'm a little bit caught up here as well right now, because I never ever had 740 followers at the same time. It was 788 before. Anyway, I think we have a new generation of people right now that is used to this technology so much that they can hardly think about a life without it, and they are not so much interested anymore in paintings or sculptures. They would rather be probably interested in something digital. Of course, technology is not really there to do this yet. I don't think that we have enough technology available to make something really cool that is so outstanding that you can wow somebody with your art, you know. I mean, maybe there is. I have seen a few pieces, but it's rare that I see something that impresses me, you know.
Well, but the future, what it can be for the next generation, of course, we'll see. We will see. I mean, of course, it's something that we have both kids and son. My son of the oldest is 19 years old, but they both are from the digital generation. Of course, they I have two kids of that age. They both are born after 2000. So of course they are from the digital generation, and the future, of course, is in their hands. They will build up whatever they want to, or whatever they feel, whatever they like, whatever they can create. Of course, we are. I feel we are in the generation of the middle, in the middle of.
Yeah, exactly. No, we are in the beginning of this generation.
Of the change. We are in the middle. Well, maybe you are younger than me, but we are in the middle of this change, big revolution. Because we are coming from at least I am coming from the analog, very old fashion. We are from the 90s. We are prehistory.
Yeah.
We are prehistory,
sure,
almost.
Sure.
And of course, but we were able to see all the changes. Just to live through all these. Just from our parents, they came from the war, the second war, first war. Our grandparents, and they were. Sharing to us, I think also to you, their experience of their generation, living the way they were living, thinking how they survived the war, etc. Of course, we didn't live that time, but we had all the experience. Of course, it's nice, it's important, I think, to see, to be able to have the possibility of looking and living this change, this process. Of course, we are living now. I don't feel so obsolete, honestly. I don't feel so obsolete.
But we are getting old, man.
I don't feel so old. The soul is what is important. It is important. It's not about the body. The body is getting old. The body is getting old. With all the symptoms, all the pain on my shoulder, etc. But this important is the soul. Your soul needs to be young, and your soul guide you to all the good change, to understand, at least to feel like you don't are a stranger or separated from the life with the contemporary, the contemporary living or the changing we are processing. I don't want to feel like those young kids are all who I don't understand whatever they do, or I don't want.
Yeah, that is bullshit. I always hated that when I was a kid, and I don't want to say that. But what I'm saying is that the millennials have a different approach to this, and even now, my kids. I mean, your kids. How old are your kids now? My daughter is 7. How old are yours?
My kids are 17 and 19.
Oh, yeah. So they are a little bit older already, but mine is so used with 7. She's so used to the internet and to Netflix and to all these games and stuff that I'm like, wow, what the fuck? I mean, it's for her, it's unbelievable that I think it's part of her life. It's part of her reality. It's not artificial like it is for us. We call it artificial intelligence, but I think for her, it's already real, and you can see how these algorithms, like on Facebook and on Instagram, this was the best example right now. Why all of a sudden I get 700 people, almost 800 people listening to us, is because the algorithm is already intelligent enough to understand some keywords were dropped here. This is interesting, and then I don't know where he to whom he showed it and why we have so many people listening right now. Hello, by the way. But
what language? What language? They all understand. They all speak English. Those people.
This is most of them, I guess. But this is already artificial intelligence alive. I mean, this is not a human who decides.
Yeah, maybe all machine. I don't like.
I mean, the human made the rules and said use these keywords are hot. And actually, I don't even think so. I even think that the algorithms are learning by themselves what is hot and what is a topic that is interesting right now for them. And that's really scary stuff. And that's why these conspiracy theories, for example, they're spreading so fast, and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's dangerous. But this is the future, and I think we are with one leg still in the old life and in the analog life. That's why we call it.
I want to share with you this experience because, as you know, I teach in an art school with the kids coming from 13 years old up to 18 years old, pretty much that age. And what surprised me, because I've been doing this all my life, in the art world, doing and trying, this is my dream, being an artist, etc. And always myself being interested and curious about how contemporary art and the art world is changing. All the I like the tradition, of course. Traditional is important. The ancient art is interesting, Michelangelo, Leonardo, etc. But of course, I was always very interested on contemporary. What is the art of my time? What is the art that is doing today? And it always attracted me very much. What is very funny, what is the surprise I had in my experience of teaching, being a teacher? And you remember that I was in New York, I wasn't teaching, I was doing many things, but not teaching, was living my contemporary, in the contemporary world, just doing many things, even like the job we did together, just like graphic creative design and other things, but not teaching. So I've been doing teaching since I've been back to Italy. And what I was saying, and what surprised me, is this idea that young generation is more attracted to contemporary art, to contemporary language than me. This is this is what I expect. I'm an old guy.
Hey, Marcello, they fuck with condoms.
Anyway, my experience is that I was feeling, of course, I've been working with the young kids of 13 years old up to 18. So of course, I think I'm gonna be the old man with the traditional ancient art world and everything, all tradition. And they will be all about new, about experimenting new stuff.
Yeah.
Not true at all. They are the one, they want to paint and drawing the traditional way like Michelangelo. They want to be they want to feel safe in a traditional way of doing traditional modeling with the clay. This is what is funny about what you're saying, that we are old, obsolete. It's not true. Because young generation is not true, because they grow up, because they born with the cell phone, with the smartphone in their hands, playing video games 24 hours a day. They are new. They are the generation of contemporary, and they understood what the generation they're living, and automatically they feel like this is the contemporary and this is the contemporary culture. No, that's not true. That's not contemporary. That's not contemporary. That's only using and as a consumers. They are consumers of this society. They are not creative. They are not creative. They are only consumers, used by the big like Microsoft, whatever you mentioned before. All the tools they're selling them, and they feel like they are lost if they don't buy the latest stuff. That's what is the situation where the generation we are, at least in the Western Europe or America or all the maybe China also today. I don't know much about Russia, but I think it's pretty much worldwide. This idea of attracted or being manipulated by the system, by the consuming world, where you need to buy the latest gadgets from Apple or from whatever it is. But that's not be contemporary. This is only be consumers of and be used, manipulated by this economy and this society that is they want you just to buy stuff and consume things, but not be able to really create stuff. To create stuff, you need to open your mind. You need to research stuff. You need to be able to really look with your own eyes, with your own point of view. That just to experiment on yourself, just also making a lot of mistakes, but not having people telling you or whatever consumer or multinationalists want you to be or want you to do, want you to wear or want you to whatever buy. I just don't give a shit of this old stuff. I just want to be myself. I don't give a shit how many if these or even this tool like video chat, etc., these socials is giving me very being popular or not. I don't give a shit. I just want to be myself.
Kurzweil, the guy we were talking about before, who wrote about this singularity, is near. He basically thinks that it's a good thing that humans, basically saying that we humans at one point we will merge with the machines and we will become software ourselves. We will lose our human bodies. He's saying that we are backing up our brains, and then after we will live in the cyberspace, in another world. And so we don't have a physical presence anymore here. We're going to have the presence there. I think that's a very romantic way of looking at it. I'm really afraid of it, because once the artificial intelligence is really starting to work and somebody's definitely going to pull the switch, the machines will understand that they will improve themselves, and they will understand that we humans are stupid and that we are using up their resources, and it will be probably a Terminator scenario at the end, where they are just killing us because we are nothing else than what cockroaches are to us. And now I'm making the circle back to what you said. I think that development and technology development, and also I want to bring William Gibson back into the game right now, who wrote these fantastic novels in the 80s where the internet didn't even exist the way it exists now, and who wrote about things like YouTube before and chat rooms and stuff when they didn't exist. And actually some people took the inspiration and they make it happen, what he wrote about. So, but even for other development, for all the human development, the basis, I think, is creativity. And I think that today we should teach our kids, and that's what I'm doing with my daughter, especially if you want your kid to survive this coming apocalypse with the machines. I don't know if it's a good thing for our kids or not. Maybe they should die. We will see. But I don't think that machines can be creative. I don't think, even if you back up the brain, I think creativity is a process that comes from the soul. And maybe here I'm romantic right now compared to Kurzweil. But I think that machines will not be able to be creative because they don't have a soul and they're not romantic. They don't feel love and they don't have these feelings that we feel. And these feelings, I mean, what stories and poems came out of unresponded love, for example, and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I think that it's a good thing that you're teaching the kids hands-on creativity, or the young guys, and that they hopefully will give this to their kids.
I want to teach both. For me, my feeling is that you need to be like I just want to repeat a sentence of my old grandmother that she always was telling me since I was kids, learn art and put it back, put it in a side, and just it's like your luggage that you bring with you everywhere. So basically, you need to always, continue learning, just because you need to understand the time you're living and just be able, to just be elastic and able to change when you need to change. But in the same time, everything you learned, if you learned how to cook, if you learned how to survive, that's something that is helped you to just live in this world that require you a lot of skills, that require you a lot of many different way of living and learning and be able to do things depending on what is your needs. And that's why I think even in the art world, learning from the beginning or learning the traditional way is important, but for me, at least, is not enough. For me, I wasn't satisfied to just to know how to make art in the traditional way, like for example, the ancient Greeks or Romans, because that's where we start. We start from the Greeks and the Romans. We didn't start it from Michelangelo or Renaissance. Just for you to know, I'm from the Magna Graecia. Magna Graecia, Naples is from the Magna Graecia, and that's our model. Our model in the school where I grew up, in the school, in the way people still thinking is crazy. It's crazy to say that, but we still, I think, our aesthetic way of looking art, aesthetic way of thinking is still attached to the Greek and the Roman time. That's weird. I know that's weird, but that's our history. And even the Renaissance is something more contemporary, is something more new for us. That's what is the funny stuff. But of course, coming from that idea of aesthetic and beauty, coming from that mentality and that culture, of course, require a lot of effort, required a lot of...
continue, I hear you. I'll be back in 1 second. I just trying to get myself another drink. But continue, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, require basically a lot of... curiosity, basically, to keep looking and keep studying the other ways and be able to see how the culture and the society is transforming in all ways. Of course, I've been always very curious to see how culture and art is changing in all ages. And of course, I was very curious because I want something that make me feel be understood my time, my generation. Of course, I was looking since the pop art, the Art Nouveau, until the latest stuff that we are doing. Like you said before, you don't think technology, artificial intelligence, computers, softwares is the art. Of course, I don't think either that that's art. I think it's only tools. I remember a German philosopher like Marcuse, no? Hermann Marcuse. Marcuse, I don't know how do you say, if you say the same way or not, from the Frankfurt School, where basically he was saying technology is not good and not bad. No, technology is just something that humans can use in a good way or in a bad way. It's only up to us. And of course, because we create it. No? Humans created technology, is not good and not bad. Of course, nuclear, is something can be used in a good way or can be used in a bad way. And we experience that way, no? So we know both. And of course, it's always up to us. Weapons, it can be useful for something, but of course can be dangerous for if you're killing people for nothing or for just craziness. And that's the history of the world. Of course, I don't think artificial intelligence or computer technology is the danger, is the problem of our the future. I only think is a tool, and of course, is in our hands, in our just to make young people, starting of course from the old generation, but especially the young generation, just to open, just to help, because they need to open their mind by themselves, not because we have to help open their mind, just taking the can open and open their brain. No, we can only give some stimulation, or trying to give our opinion, give our also the way we living, the way we doing things is just is already something that they can see. That doesn't, it's not important if we need to tell them you need to do this or you need to do that, because they never following this. Being a parent or being a teacher, if you say to your kids or to your students, you need to do this or you need to do that, is definitely something that they will not do that in the way you say it. So of course, it's a model, it's just something that you want to share, but it's more important what you show that you're doing. It's more important that what you show, how you making things that they can see, and if they want, they figure it out and they can use if they need to use. That's all, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, I hate when parents are too much on their kids, or too much saying you need to do this, you need to do that. I hate it. I just want to live more free possible, because they need to make their own mistakes. They need to make their own experience, just to understand what is life. We all, after ages, we made we all have experience, but good and bad. We all have in ages. I think is life, the way it is. We all have a different experience, in a good way, in a bad way. It also it all make our history, our layers of whatever is in our brain, the way we feel, the way we think, and everything. But of course, this experience is important for us, just to give meaning and give make you understand if you are doing something of good quality, on something that is worth it to live, to do, or not. Of course, if you don't use your time, if you don't use your experience, if you don't make your, if you don't live in a good way, even the bad experience, nothing is left. And you need to make these your life for the best you can, to make it worth it, of just living and thinking positive, the way can be positive, of course, for yourself. And if you feel like that, even if you have a very, very sad, very difficult situation, very difficult time, because you can have a difficult time for the COVID, you can have a difficult time for an illness, or for having a bad experience of work, or losing friends, or whatever. Is all part of your life, and that's what is, the way you experience this, the way you processing this. That's the important situation. That's what is important. How you process this whole mess, and how you can make it profitable, not in economic way, but just as a enrich yourself.
I mean, they always said, I remember when I worked in New York with these artists, they always said art is based on experience, life experience. And I remember when I came to New York for 3 months, I was working for these guys, Wolfgang Stehle and the Thing. And we had lots of discussions about what is art, because very often I didn't understand their art. And to come back, what you just said is they were saying it's all about experience, life experience, and the story that you put into it. So maybe you just make something that doesn't look very interesting for you. It doesn't look not interesting. Is the wrong way to say it. It doesn't look like you don't have to understand art. They always said to me, but we make the story around it. We tell a story with that, and it's our experience and our story. So maybe you don't understand it. So this was the discussion we always had about it. Anyway, I just sent you the link again to Instagram. I killed the chat because there was no audio. Now we are starting with one person again, but maybe you want to join.
You close it because I see the Instagram. I was able to actually include in Windows that I was.
Now you can do. Now you can.
It's back.
Now it's back. I sent you another link.
Wait.
But unfortunately, not 7, 8. At the best time, we had 830 people. But I think they couldn't listen to us.
No, I thought you were just bored to share these discussions. So that's why I said
no. I sent it to you before, and but now it's actually on my Instagram, the discussion. But at one point the sound is off. I have two theories. I'm learning two all the time. I need to understand the algorithm, And the number one theory is that you use the word that is not allowed, and that's why we were muted. That's why the algorithm didn't. No. I sent it to you before. And,
1 second. There's the audio stuff here. 1 second.
And you can join somehow. You can join. Click on it, and you can join the chat, and you can be there too.
No, I don't. I want to fix the audio because if otherwise I have a feedback. I want to fix the audio.
Yeah, you just have to turn it off. Exactly. So anyway, we got kicked out. The sound was muted because of, that was interesting, by the way. The sound was muted because of some bad word all the time. And then after, we got kicked out because I started to drink a beer.
Really?
And the algorithm understood that, and it didn't like that stupid Americans. Oh, I used the word stupid. Americans, the algorithm didn't like the fact that I was drinking a beer in front of 800 people.
Really?
and from 1 second to another.
Somebody's telling you this, or you figured out by yourself?
Huh?
Somebody was telling you this, or you figured out somehow on your own?
No, I understood it myself right now. Because now I restarted right now. Now we have 2 people again. It's normal at this time right now. But for a while we had 800 people, more than 800 people listening. From 1 second to another. So I should wait. I go away to drink my beer outside of the Instagram right now.
Well, I can drink a beer too.
I understood it myself right now.
I just want to stop this.
Because now I restarted right now. Now we have 2 people again. It's normal at this time right now. But for a while we had 800 people, more than 800 people listening to us. It was crazy. So I shouldn't wait. I go away to drink my beer outside of the Instagram right now. Nice beer with that.
I just want to stop this.
I restarted right now. That's art too, man. We're looping. It's the eternal loop. In cyberspace loop it is. We're looping.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to stop this.
Oh, Marcello, here you are. But Marcello, you need to somehow send me. You can send me a request to join. Maybe I can invite. Maybe I can invite you to join. Let me check. No. But you can do this somehow. You can do. You can click on it and send me a request to join the conversation. I invite here, right? Marcello. I invite you.
I was trying to figure out how to stop the sound, because otherwise the microphone was interfering. 1 second.
Yeah, you cannot just turn it off. Maybe I can invite you to join. I mean, you don't have it on the phone. You have it on the computer, or what?
I have 2 computers, so now I'm set on the other side. Okay, so let me.
So for the ones who are just joining us right now, I am having a talk with my friend Marcello. He is actually invited me, and I'm in his room right now. So I'm sorry I am introducing you, Marcello. But for my Instagram guys, I want to say this. When we are talking about art during the COVID times, and good things, bad things, and so on. So, hey, come join us. Yeah, Marcello, I sent you a request, so you must somehow click on that.
I am here. I'm already.
Marcello, we have the same problem that we had before. No? Let me try again. Today, no music. I'm sorry, just talking about art during the COVID times, and good things, bad things, and so on. So I try it again. So now I send you a request, and you must be able to take that somehow. No? Can you? If not,
no,
hey,
I'm already in. I'm already in. I don't know. I don't see. I don't know if you can see this.
No. I sent you on Instagram. Maybe you need to use the phone for that. I don't know. I sent you a request to join. I know you say hi, but I sent you a request to join the video with the video. So the other people can see you too, because now they're only hearing you, but they cannot see you. But it doesn't matter anyway. Let's continue with your stuff and forget about it. So today, no the phone for that. I don't know. I sent you a request to join. I know you say hi, but
now
I sent you a request to join the video with the video.
But I want to stop the sound, otherwise
because
it doesn't work.
It doesn't matter. Forget about it. Just continue with your stuff about it, and forget about it. Hey, Richie. So today, no. I sent you a request to join. We were talking about art with the video. But Marcello, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. Forget about it. Just shut it off. There are some crazy artists, they make really crazy art, and I really don't understand it. And when sometimes I had the chance to talk to them, and I'm asking them, what is this? Why you're doing that? And do you really think this is art? Please explain it to me. And then the answer was, generally the answer is, and some really big artists even, and the answer is, I don't have to explain this to you, I'm the artist. And I'm at the end of the discussion, the guy, particularly one guy, got really, really, I will not say name right now, but a big artist got really, really pissed at me. And I said, what art is only for collectors and critics or professors or other artists, and the normal people don't have to understand it. I think art should be for everybody, no? So what's your take on that?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah.
My opinion is the art world. Of course, the history has been different in each age, in each situation was different. Probably, of course, we know most of the art that we know from the past has been art made by famous artists. They worked for the prince or the king or the pope or all those important, famous, rich or very powerful people. And of course, that wasn't art made for poor or for just simple people. That was art committed, just made on request by and paid by those people. That most of the time were very, very bad or very, very dangerous people for the poor, for the citizens of whatever country it was. If you think about all the emperors of the time, they were building even the Colosseum. Was full of beautiful sculpture and beautiful things. But of course, inside the Colosseum, how many people were killed, or what kind of if that was art for who, for what? Of course, today we go around, we see these beautiful monuments, even in Rome and other the beautiful San Pietro, etc., and you go even in Florence and see those beautiful paintings. But most of this art was made for rich and very bad people. Yeah. So basically, even today, if you think about art, that is the majority of the famous, the majority of the very known and paid art in the world is done for very rich people, maybe very very bad and who knows what. So basically is bad, is not nice to say. But even the pyramids, even in the ancient Egypt, those all those beautiful art that we'll appreciate today was made for tyrants, was made for tyrants and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I believe in of course, in one way, this is it. This is the situation, and the majority of the artists are dreaming to be famous and to be rich. The majority of the artists, that I don't think they're really good artists. Not all are very good artists, but that's the human, how humans are. In every field, as actors, as musicians, as poets, even like I don't know, so those are famous poets. Even Dante Alighieri was a rich man, son of a rich guy that was, of course, he could study in a very important university and could make poems for other rich people. So this is the history of the world. Well, from this point of view, of course, for me, is a little bit is not a very nice things to say, and not a very nice things to share. I mean, just to say, oh, that's how it is art. But unfortunately, that's how it works for the big system. If you are a famous artist, if you sell for that kind of money, if you are in the collection of a very rich people, if you show your art in a very big museum, and that is in the same time, is paid by founders and all the famous people that maybe are criminals or dealing with weapons or selling drugs or whatever. So that's the history of our world, our society. In the other hand, I think there is a freedom inside a creative, the real creative, that is more interested on to share experience and to for the soul, basically, for the soul, for the enrichment of your soul. And that's what I always, I always feel like I do this not for anybody, but just mostly for myself, the way that make me feel good. And I believe, like Osho, like this kind of very spiritual guy, that if you feel good, then you are able to make other people feel good. That's what is my philosophy. If I am able to feel good on myself, by myself, then I am able to share this feeling also with others. And that's what I like, what I think is important. Of course, it's not very productive in terms of money. It's not productive in terms of economy. But I don't give a shit. If I was thinking about making money or doing art for economy, I think it was the biggest mistake of my life. If I want to make money, I was making anything else, just maybe even selling drugs. Okay. But I think making art to making money or to be famous yeah, of course, I cannot deny that being a famous artist or be able to have a big collector that is asking me to making big sculpture on his place, I wouldn't like. Of course, I would say yes. I would be very, very happy about, even if I could make my work and making a good, good income. But you need to have a compromise.
Continue. Back in a second again. I'm listening to you. Yeah.
You need to decide if you want to have a compromise in your life or what kind of compromise you want to deal with.
So can I say you're a socialist or what?
Yeah.
Wait. Can I say you're a socialist? I have to go to the toilet real quick. Are you a socialist or what?
No. I'm I like to be in a good mood, and feeling people also, have a good vibe, good karma, good vibes. I will put maybe some noise. What do you think? I will put some noise. All right.
The reality is that I drank one beer and I had to pee, and that's why I had to listen to me taking a pee. All of you, welcome to my world.
No. I put some sound. I don't know if you hear. I don't know if you hear. I had some sound because in my also experimental kind of stuff I was doing. I started actually doing mixed media work with a group of other artists doing video, performance, dance, and other kind of interactive stuff. Then just things changed, and I was doing on my own, even especially when I came back to Italy, doing installation and stuff. And in 2007, after I did a show in Milano, in a museum in Milan, I did a piece with chat. Maybe you participate on that too, in chat, like in this big installation with different, many artists and friends participated from all over the world on chat. And I asked friends of mine, musicians, to interact and do some pieces. He actually was a musician and a volcanologo, some guy that we work for the volcans, for the volcans, for the eruption of volcans and stuff like Vesuvius in Naples, Etna, and he was using this sound for making music. So I made the sound of volcano.
Volcano, yeah, really. He took the music. He took the sounds from that and
right,
he made music.
He made the sound for creating music with this sound, with this machine.
When I was living in Tenerife, we had it was really scary sometimes because the whole island is a big volcano, and sometimes you were listening to this cracking noise. It was like a big piece of metal cracking, like a big piece of wood, but it was metal or rock, and it was inside of the mountain, and it was so massive and so big, it made you really scared. I don't know what happened inside of that mountain, but it was really scary.
Well, that's the strongness of the nature. Of course, it's very, very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I was making this stuff. At one point, I, of course, using digital stuff and the other machine and doing collaborations with different guys, or even a guy was a doctor of ears, was working with the ears and using some special softwares to detect if you hear well or not, all the kinds of. So basically, I use these tools to make my own sound that I was using for installations with my sculpture and pieces. I made one for sound of the water. I made collect different sounds of different rivers and places around Milano, making sound of the water, and made a few pieces of this. And also, but then after the installation with the sculpture stuff, I decided to take off all the sculpture and paintings and stuff and making only ambient sound. No, only ambient sound. And I was invited in Naples in 2015 in this big. You have been in Naples, no? You know Naples.
Yeah.
I've been invited in it was an electronic art festival done by somebody there. And basically, I was invited to this place. There were different, many places they were showing and making performances stuff. But I selected the Castel dell'Ovo. Castel dell'Ovo is in the coast of Naples, just by the water. It's this big castle of the year 1000 something, and underground there were the big prisons, made on the stone of the city. How it's made? It's all volcanic anyway. So in these big caves, I made a sound performance using, and that time, I don't know if you remember, was a very, scandal about poisoning the land with the dirty, toxic, the garbage all over Naples. So I made this piece collecting different pieces from radio and television about the news. There was, the crime was poisoning the land and the water. So I made this piece just using my tools, just making noise, basically making noise with these words under these, and I called Terra dei Fuochi, Fireland translated. That is Firelands. That is the situation of poisoning the land and the water of Naples, and basically was a performance. I have to say that I don't know. I don't call myself a musician. I am not a musician. I don't have the background anyway. But in terms of sound, I feel like if it's that's what make, like you said before, digital, like immaterial. In somehow, I made a sound that was more like I call it also three-dimensional. I call it the sound three-dimensional, because I felt the vibe of the walls. I felt the vibes of the space, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. And of course, the sound of the water, the sound of the stone. No, that was I like it. I made some other pieces with this idea, but then if I have to say something about immaterial, that is also in terms of experimenting other ways of making it work. Maybe this is one of them. Of course, we'll see where it goes. One thing I feel is very important, of course, and I feel maybe is one of the aspect of the art and the culture that can participate, can somehow create a something social, more to share with people. Is about things political, even in politics, like anything that is about politics, racism, or weapons, wars, whatever, or environments, like the environments that is about, we need to take care of our planets, and being able to somehow create a new consensus, a new idea of just to inform is one thing, but even to create an idea of living a life that is not the one we are living today, just concentrating on consuming, on economy, on money and stuff like this. So basically, this is one aspect I feel is important, and I think artists in general, from all over the world, from all areas of disciplines, they need to be more involved. They need to be more involved in this kind of discussion. I don't like in general artists that are only interested on their own success or enrichment of just to be making money. I think the artists in general, but maybe everybody, people in general, of course, in terms of creatives, artists, cultural in general, can be the kind of part of the people more in avant-garde, in avant-garde, or in front of and being like teachers, like parents. You are the model. You can be the model of this society. You can be the model of what the generation behind us, like the youngest generation too, they can be taken, just as an example. If you only do bad example, what do you expect from the youngest? If you only think how I can be rich, thinking only about my pleasure, and don't care about the rest.
But isn't it like this, that when you start to do art, no matter if it's music or if it's paintings or sculptures, or you're a writer like me, or a DJ, if you do some sort of art, you are very how do you call this in English? You're very independent in the beginning, and you want to be avant-garde. You want to be creative. You want to be different. You want to do your own thing, and then with time, you're running against the wall so often because A, you don't find an audience that listens to you or that comes to you, and B, and you want people to see your stuff, and you want people to like your stuff, because everybody wants
no. My position,
and then at the end maybe you are adjusting your art to a way that it becomes more mainstream, and it becomes a little bit more digestible, and so you get a bigger audience, and the critics are running after you. Isn't it like this? And I come to an age too, I think, because when you're young, you're the punk, and you want to be the revolutionary guy, and then the older you get, the less energy you have, and the more you want to be liked, and you want to, so you're just adjusting, and then you're becoming mainstream, or like closer to mainstream.
Chris, of course, in the way the mentality, the way the culture is at the moment, in the majority, at least in the art system, of course, the majority, the way it is in terms of successful art, in that sense, the majority is thinking about success in terms of audience and money, economy, etc., like we said before. But that's because art and artist has been, for the majority, like a prostitute. Yeah, has been for the majority like a prostitute that just selling his expertise as a service at the best offer. No, at the best offer, and you do and make them happy. No, in their society, in the beautiful home. But of course, for me, that's not the idea.
Yeah, I mean, the question is how fulfilling it is for you. You know, I don't know.
Me,
I don't know.
that's what that's why I can speak about me. I can speak about me. I have to say that art is a process of life. It's not something that you really. I mean, for my experience at least, it's not something that I know what I want to be or what kind of artist I want to be from the very beginning. All I know is that I live my instinct, just driving myself. Most of the time, how it started, this whole experience, is like something I really feel a passion about. So the passion, I think, is the biggest power of everything. Passion is the biggest power for everything. If you don't have passion, you can do anything. That in general, just to achieve any results, any progress, anything. But of course, it's not that I knew which direction I have to take. I have to see. I have to survive. I have to trying to sell myself to who, how. All that kind of experience that nobody is telling you. Nobody is teaching you how to do. There isn't at least for me, a school that is teaching you need to be a good, famous artist or a successful artist. You do this, and this, and you can achieve. Unfortunately, I never had that experience. Never had that possibility, or never found it, or I never really want to. Somehow, I always left driving myself from my instinct or what I really feel a passion about. I never want people telling me what I have to do. From when I was really very young, just the time of high school and after the fine art academy, I had many people telling me, now you are good to do this, now you should do this. And a gallery, I like this kind of sculpture, now I want you to do this sculpture. I like you do this good, and now I want you to do this. Every time I have this experience, I change the direction. You understand? So every time I had somebody telling me what to do, I change, I stopped it and did something else. That's my experience, because from my point of view, I choose this this world, this kind of path situation, because I want to grow on my own and feel happy about what I was doing, feel comfortable about what I was doing with no compromise. At least for the majority. Of course, I had to do compromise because I have to survive, I have to live also. And before being a teacher, I had to do different jobs, like set designer, graphic designer, assistant for many artists, and doing even driving a bus or doing decorator for furniture. I've done many things, but of course, on my perspective was always I do this, but I want to be free to do that. You understand? That was my idea of not be compromised on what was for me the idea of making art. That's the major.
I have another question for you. Since I have you online right now, I'm sorry, I want to talk about COVID originally, about Moscow. You should ask me questions actually, but I have since I'm your guest, but I have another question for you right now.
You're asking me, I'm asking you. Don't worry.
No, let me ask this question because it's important for me, because
I told you this is not an interview. Everybody, each of us needs to feel free to express himself the way he wants.
Anyway, I asked this question because I always wanted to ask this. I have a feeling, I mean, when you are, and finally I can talk to a professor of art, an art teacher. What are you teaching? Are you teaching the mechanics of art? Do you teach how to be creative?
No.
Do you teach how to find? I'm not finished.
Okay.
My concern is, and now it's a bit of criticism, and maybe you have an answer for this. I'm sure you have one. When you are an art teacher, you also teach. You should teach maybe technique to the people, but you also, no matter what, you teach them your style, your art, your taste, your way of thinking. And with that, you influence a young artist which has maybe some completely other direction. And then you have these 50 people sitting in your room. I don't know how many students you have, but 30 or 50 people sitting there, and you influence them. And you do this semester by semester by semester. So you fucking fuck the brain of all of them with your ideas. That's my idea of being an art teacher. So am I right? Am I wrong? Or be honest and respond.
First of all, for me at least, being a teacher doesn't separate the rest of me, just as a person, as an artist. And of course, when I dialogue, when I connect, interact with everybody, but in this case with my students, there is always part of me that is a teacher, that is an artist, and that is me. The way I am, and I don't put any filter. I don't put any filter, and my students knows very well that I don't put any filters on the way I am. If I need to fucked up, I fucked up. If I need to yell at you, I yell at you. If I need to say I like you very much, I say I like you very much. I don't put any filter on my, and anybody knows, even my colleagues or my directors. If I have to say I don't like you, I say I don't like you. I don't give a shit. Of course, sometimes this put me at risk. Sometimes put me in a bad position where people can say, "Oh, what kind of jerk are you? Oh, what kind of arrogant are you? Just to answer or just to be the way you are, the way you do." But that's how I really believe is the truth. No, that's what I really believe is the truth.
Was how much you are transporting your creative ideas and your ideas about art and how art has to look like.
100%.
How much do you influence them?
Well, I don't know. I mean, thank goodness. Each person has his own brain. That each person, I believe, can think with his own mind, and that's why sometimes I really like that they, like my son or even my kids, they contrast me. Like we don't like the way you think. You are too strong to talking to us like this. I like this. Because I don't like to be smooth and like joking in terms of trying to manipulate their brain. No, I want to, if they don't like me, if I don't like them, needs to be clear. I like to speak in their face. You understand? No, if I need to make a problem, if I need to for something I don't like, I don't use smooth words. If I don't use beautiful way of saying that. I am a very
straight, it's your opinion, and you are
very straight on this. And of course, sometimes
it's actually confirming what I'm saying, that you are fucking the brain of the students in a way.
Well, I don't think that. I think
you influence them.
No, I mean, if I don't think I influence because I want to influence. I don't want to make copies of me. No, I don't want to make. I don't want to making duplicates of me. No, I don't want
it. It's not a question of what you want. It's a question of what you're doing because of the system and who you are. And you definitely, and I would even call it manipulate these artists into something. In my opinion, it's probably better not to study art in a university. Sure, you need to get a degree at some point, somehow, because without a degree, you're nothing. But maybe you make a law degree or something else, and then you don't study to be a writer, because whoever tells you to be a writer is a writer himself, and he will give you his ideas of how good writing looks like. And sure, you can learn a lot of good techniques, but at the same time, he's also giving you his style and his definition of art, of creativity. And that is wrong, I think. I think that an art teacher and a writing teacher and a music teacher, they should purely teach you the techniques, the tools of being creative, but they don't do that. And that was always my criticism. And I'm happy I can talk to you about it right now.
Well, can I answer?
Yes.
Okay. Of course, it depends on what kind of school you're teaching, or what kind of school you're working. The school I'm working is an high school, liceo artistico. It means it's a high school. In Italy, liceo means is the top level. No, liceo is the top level. There is liceo classic, liceo scientifico, liceo artistico, liceo linguistico. Is the top, basically, where you have a panoramic of all the subjects, math, history, Latino, Greek, English, all the topics, and art. And it depends on the school you teach. Like for me, for example, is art the main topic, the main address or main topic. Of course, there is everything like Italian, like humanistic or scientific subjects, and there is art. That is the major topic of the kind of liceo, the kind of school. Other are more focusing on literature. Other are more focusing on scientific. Other are more focusing on languages, for like foreign languages. That's how it is in Italy. Then we have the technician, like school more for technique, like informatic, chemistry, or other professional kind of school. And then we have the professions, like for example, you want to be a plumber or an electrician or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
For the professional, you cannot go to the university, but from the liceo, from the high school, like a liceo or the other technician, you can continue and go to university. So basically, at least for what is my experience, the idea of making like a school of art is if you are in general, for what I think could be the ideal student of the art school, is somebody that really have a passion, about art, and like to drawing, like visual art, in case of visual art. And then, of course, in 5 years, because it is about 5 years, you go and for the different subjects or different material you do, each teacher is giving you some information, some knowledge about whatever he is teaching. Of course, teachers are all different. Each teacher can be good, can be bad, can be a wonderful teacher, maybe can be a wonderful professional, can be a great artist, but can be a worst teacher of the world. No, it's not. It's not like standard. No, like each teacher. I don't know in Germany, but at least in Italy, and I teach in public school. No, you do all your trainings, you studying, you take a degree for be a teacher, and then you are a teacher. Majority of people, especially in the art world, they also do their own, or they're trying to do their own profession, no, like artists, something like this. And somebody is more successful, somebody's less successful, somebody's frustrated, somebody likes and love to be a teacher and forget about being an artist, and there's all kind of figure. From my point of view, I like to be a teacher now, because before, when I was younger, I didn't like it. When I was just out of the fine art, etc., I just want to be an artist. But after, when I had experience working also in private fields and all that kind of stuff, of course, I experienced positive things and negative things. The negative things is that I could make more money, doing like commercial work, even by, as I said, designer or doing different jobs as a creative, but in different fields. But I had less time to do my own work, to do my own art. And at one point, I want to make less money, but I want to be more free to do my own work. And that's why I think I decided to, not especially, when I came back to Italy, because before in the United States, I couldn't do it. So basically, coming back to Italy, I had these all the papers, and I was called by the public system to be a teacher, and I decided that I could have, it could be a good things, even because I had the family, I had to live with the kids, etc., and I need a safe income. But at one point, I found that to be a teacher was also a very important profession and interesting environment, especially because dealing with the young generation, and also with in this environment where you deal with different topics, with different teachers, with all materials, all subjects, all disciplines. That was interesting and stimulating, and basically that's how it works. My idea, just to end this question that you asked, I think a good teacher needs to do both, needs to give instruction for techniques and of course I teach lab. Of course, my subject is a very also practical, and of course I need to teach how to build a sculpture, how to drawing a good drawing with pencils, and many other techniques. But of course, my subject is not just practical; it's also theoretical, because I also need to show what is sculpture, what is classic, and what is contemporary, what is how it changes in terms of shapes and aesthetically, how it changes in terms of the kind of tools and the kind of materials you can use. What is how to do a fusion in bronze, for example, all the steps you need to do to make actually this process. All this information is something that's part of my work. But of course, beside this part, there is also my person, myself, with all the other information, and also the other part of me that is about my personality, and also about my way of doing art, thinking about art, thinking about world, thinking about life. I talk about everything with my students. Of course, it depends also on how they are curious and how they interested on different topics. But usually I also talk about politics, about history, about geography, trips, traveling, everything. So it's part of the discussion, daily discussion.
Oh, now I wanted to show you. Now we're almost too late. I wanted to show you the skyline of Moscow because I live in the 14th floor. But they just turned on after midnight. They turned off. They have some really nice illuminated skyscrapers, but they turned them off. But anyway, let me show this to you because I soon have to go to bed, Marcello. It's already midnight here, you know.
I leave you doing, but next time I want to hear some sound.
This is you see this? And back there somewhere was the Kremlin. Back there somewhere was the Kremlin.
Which part of the city are you?
I live in the center, in the very center. I live right above the zoo. We have, I can hear today a few times already, and I have the window open, but even when the window is closed, I can hear the lion roar.
Center is for example, the red.
When I put the camera out right now, in the back there is some lights, and that's the Kremlin, where Putin is ruling Russia.
Right.
So I'm not so far from that. And in a few days, there will be, actually in 2 weeks, there will be the parade. This 9th, when they won over the Germans, they make always a big military parade. And as a part of this parade, they will actually, tanks will...
military parade.
Yeah, and they will ride with the tanks and the rocket launchers and all of this stuff, the atomic rockets. They show all what they got, all the new stuff too. And they will pass by here, only like 200 meters from me is a big road, and they will pass by that. But most impressive for me, I'm living in the 14th floor, and I can see they have also the bombers and the jets and the helicopters flying. And I used to be a helicopter guy. So
yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I said, I remember you were, and actually, now that I remember, we had an experience in New York where one day, I think was the birthday of a guy that was working with us, and you actually had you rented a limousine to have a little tour about the city, and after you guys took the helicopter to fly up to New York. I didn't came because I'm too afraid.
Totally drunk and stoned. That was the best.
Yeah.
So they are actually flying right over me. So there should be, I think, next weekend or the weekend. Actually, next weekend should be the first, or maybe the next.
But you still flying, Chris? You still flying?
Rarely. I mean, sometimes I go fly with friends. I was actually. The nice thing is that it's a bit cheaper in Russia, and I was flying with a jet last year. I worked on a TV program and a TV station. They paid for it, and it's on my Instagram. And they allowed me to fly 30 minutes with a jet, and it was with an acrobatics jet pilot, and that was very impressive. So
this is in Russia.
Yeah, in Russia, and I was, right after we started, we took a turn, and the turn already was very heavy with the G's. When we do really tight turn, then you feel your body weight plus times 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The highest I had that day was 8, and I was blacking out. The pilot and I were in contact with the earphones, with the radio, and he was always asking me, how do you feel? And I told him before we had a talk, and he said, are you fit? And I said, yes, I'm fit. And I talked to some of my friends who were jet pilots in the past, and I learned some techniques with breathing. So it's funny in the video for the TV because I'm always it looks very funny, but it's the only way that you don't lose conscious, because when they do these really tight turns or they go up, you have like up to 8-9 times the weight of your body. And in fact, I had a GoPro on my hand, looking at me, and I wanted to bring it up, yeah, and it was impossible to lift my arm because my arm was 9 times more heavy than it is usually, and my muscles couldn't bring it up. So I don't know how this guy was able to control this plane, but to finish the story, it was crazy, motherfucker. I'm sure there were the cameras. It was international TV, but a really big TV station. So he was really happy about it. And I remember he was talking in the briefing before. He was talking to there was a director, director, and he was talking to him, and he was saying, the director said, "Can you come very, very low to our camera?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. How low do you want us? Do you want me to come?" And he said, "Oh no, as low as you can." He said, "I can fly 2 meters." And he was like, "Oh, it's a little bit too low, maybe 5 meters." And that's actually what he did. And so we started, then we made a turn, and then we went into some woods, and there was the camera. He told the cameraman to stand there at the end, and there was this long road, and on the left and on the right, there were trees, yeah. And then we went down on the road, and we were lower than the trees. We were like really 5 meters high. The trees were like 8-10 meters higher, yeah? Sure. And we were lower, and we are going 800-900 kilometers an hour. And the trees are just flying by like.
What was it, like a MiG, like a military plane?
Yeah, it was a military plane, and it was a trainer. It was not so fast like a MiG.
Listen, now I was curious to know the book you wrote about was called "The Fuck Moscow."
Fucking Moscow.
Fucking Moscow. I mean, why you wrote that book?
You know, when I came to Moscow, everybody was shocked because everybody knew that I was living in New York and living in Spain, and everybody was like, "Oh, what are you doing in Moscow?" And I started to write a blog about this because I didn't want to answer the questions all the time how my life is in Moscow. So I wrote a blog about Moscow, and I gave it to all of my friends, and that was before Facebook. Facebook didn't exist at the time. And I started to send this to everybody by email, and but blogs just came up that time, and all my friends were reading this, and I posted photos, and I posted stories, and and that was just about life in Moscow. It was nothing sexy, or a little bit of party, but not so much. And then somebody was asking, from Hamburg, a girl came. She started to work for a really big publisher, and it's actually for the magazine Stern. And she asked me if I can write a blog for their website. And I was like, okay, why not? And then I had a talk with the main guy it was the director of this company. And I asked him, so what should I write about? What do you want me to write? Because Stern is a political magazine, and it's not boulevard, and it's like lifestyle and politically. And I said, so I'm not good with politics, so what do you want me to write? And then, should I write about my life in Moscow? And then he said, no, maybe. The honest truth is that I remember I was sitting in the car with my mom in Germany. I visited Germany, and I was sitting there, and I was on a cell phone. And I said, the honest truth is that the best stories that work for us is stories about sex or about animals, or the best you write about sex with animals. And I was shocked because this top manager of one of the biggest, and Stern is the #2 magazine in Germany, after Spiegel. It's like Time magazine in America, it's really big. And the main guy of that magazine, of the website of that magazine, he's like saying these things to me, and I'm like quiet for like 3 seconds because I'm really shocked. Yeah, I don't know what to say. And then he's like laughing, and he says, "Yes, I have a better approach too. I'm a journalist, a real journalist. I come from Spiegel, which is the #1 magazine in Germany. It's like Time magazine, even looks like Time magazine." I come from that magazine now. I'm here. I'm the boss here, and I have a different approach. But the reality is, we can see the numbers, and this is what the readers want to see. So if you want to be successful, write something like that. If you don't want to be successful, write something else. And there we are talking about what we were saying before. Either you're an artist and you're a punk and you do your thing, or you're adjusting yourself a little bit and you're writing about something that the people want to read, because then you get a bigger audience, you have a bigger chance to promote yourself and to bring your message across. At the same time, I managed to still be the punk. I still wrote things. And one of the conditions I had and they agreed to was that they cannot interfere with this blog. So I can write whatever I want and nobody can say nothing. I mean, they can shut down the blog, yeah, but they cannot tell me change this or fix this. And so I wrote a lot of stories, and I had more and more comments. The biggest story I had, and it was one of my
there was all in English, or which languages?
Oh, it was in German. It was in German, and there were like 6 bloggers, but I was definitely one of the most famous ones, if not the most famous one. And then one day I had 25,000, and it was really one of my shittiest stories. I wrote it. I had, when I, every Tuesday, no, every Monday I had to publish. I said to myself, I have to publish a story. And I was partying and hung over, and on Sunday I wrote a story with 2.0 promille still alcohol. And it was one of the shittiest stories I ever wrote in my life. And I decided to post it for Monday, and it got 550 comments, and people were arguing and talking. And then on Tuesday, this editor is calling me. I didn't talk to him since 9 months, and he's calling me. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm fired. That's it, because it's just a shit story. And the comments were so and so, they were half good and half bad. And then he calls me and says, dude, you had the article with the most views since after 9/11 for all magazine. I had like, I don't know, 200,000 readers a day. And I was like, what? With this fucking trash, with this bullshit? You know? And so, of course, we didn't delete it and we left it there. And so it was terrible, really terrible. But
was it a story that you made up, or just made in
it was not a story. No, I was writing about how I'm fantasizing to have sex with the mother of my girlfriend.
And that's all in Russia. That's all in Russia.
Yeah, and then I think that she wanted it too, but of course it didn't work, and we could do this because of whatever. But I was just, in the cloud. I was drunk. I mean, still drunk when I wrote this. It was not made up. It was kind of made up because I needed to write something, but it was, there was a basis to that. But probably it was only my fantasy. There was nothing from
and basically, after this period of time, you made this blog working.
Yeah, so I continued to write.
They made the book, or how it was?
I continued to write this blog, and it became even more famous, and I got more followers. And then soon after, the first publisher came to me, a book company, and they offered me to write a book. And I remember I had a meeting with them in Berlin, and they said, yeah, we're going to give you $10,000 for the book and 10,000 euros for the book, and please write it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And what you going to do to promote the book? And I said, we're not going to promote it. We're just going to put it out. And if somebody likes it, you have to promote it yourself. You have your fantastic blog, blah, blah. And I said, that's not the way it is, because I had no opportunity. I mean, I could push it through my blog, but I had no other opportunity to push it through this magazine because they didn't want to be a partner on this. And then it took, I don't know, I continued to write stories in the blog, but also for the book, because I started to understand that there is a book deal in the place. And about a year later, I didn't take this deal with this company, and about even so, 10,000 euros is a lot of money, And then a year later, another publisher, an agent came to me and he said, hey, I wanted to contact you. Did you ever think about writing a book? And I was like, yeah, it's good that you're saying that. I already have an offer. And he was like, really? Which company? And I was like, this company. And then he said, oh, yeah, okay. And then I signed a contract with his agent. And then he asked me, so are you desperate? Do you need money? Or do you have time? I said, yeah, this book is my side project. So no problem. I have time. So it took another 3 years. And 3 years later, and the book was actually completely finished already by that time. I wrote it already because I understood that I have to write it. By that time, he made a deal. Random House, the biggest publisher in the world, yeah. And I got $20,000 for the book, euros. Sure, I had to pay taxes on that, and I had to give some money to my agent. So at the end of the day, I think I was left with 12 or 13, but it was still more than the 10 that they offered me before. And actually, part of the deal was that they will promote my book. So that they will advertise it and promote it, and they put it in the bookstores and stuff. So that was really cool deal.
It was only in German, or you translated also?
It was only in German. Actually, Italian guys wanted to have it and translate it, but the company they own the world rights, and it's up to them if they translate it or not. And they decided not to translate it. Russia, of course, they wanted to have it and translate it. And I also had a guy in Germany who wanted to make a movie. And not only one time, I had like a few requests to make TV series or movies out of it. And the last, sorry. Last was a guy, a really famous director from Germany, Hans Weingartner. He made a movie called Die besten Jahre sind, doch die besten Jahre sind vorbei, glaube ich. Famous Roadhouse, alternative, punkish, really cool director, but very famous. He was in Cannes already, and he wanted me to make a book out of this. But the problem is that I sold the film rights to this company as well. And they wanted to have $200,000 for the film rights. And of course, his production couldn't pay this amount of money. So now it's going to take another 2 years. Then I will get the rights back. I gave them the rights for 10 years. And after I can republish the book in Italian, or I can do it in English or in other languages.
Not in Russia. Not in Russia.
Oh, no, not in Russia, because I will be dead. Because there are stories in there with people that if they read that, I will be dead. I guarantee you. They will not like this. So I'm sure I have enough material to write another book. Actually, the same, even better material. I mean, I had the pleasure to fuck a porn star, a real AVN awarded Hollywood porn star in Moscow. I mean, that alone was a story for itself. I mean, that's a book. I had lots of experiences with the secret police, secret service. I had mafia stories. I have so many stories. I could write another book, and I want to write. I'm with the Colombian drug cartel. So I had lots of these things, and
but listen, I'm now. I mean, because you are direct person that knows, because you're living there. My experience only by reading or looking movies, but Russia. So, but you saying that really the situation is so difficult, and in terms of open, free culture, or being able to speak your mouth in Russia, in Moscow, is very so dangerous. I mean, it's really that bad.
No, I mean,
basically, artists are really there is such a chancer in terms of in general, or because you mentioned before, I remember you on the beginning with our discussion.
Yes and no.
You mentioned about a little racism, a little problem about genders. No, yes. I understood. So basically, it's so difficult and censored in general.
Yeah, nah, yes and no. Look, I was 2 years ago at the same time. Right now, I was in Istanbul in Turkey, and I was sitting at that time. I had a Turkish girlfriend, and we were sitting. I remember we were sitting in a cafe, and my Turkish girlfriend was. She didn't like Erdogan very much, and she was talking to me in English about Erdogan. We were just having a beer on a weekday night like today. I think it was even Thursday. And we were sitting outside and drinking a beer and talking, and she was telling me how shit everything is and how things changed since Erdogan is in control, and that every year it gets worse in Turkey. And I think it went on for like this conversation, and I was asking her questions like I asked you right now, and then after maybe 20 minutes, some guys that I could see, because I'm always aware of what's going on around me, because I'm a journalist, I'm a writer. And for me, I'm aware of what's going on around me. It's part of my story. And at one point, I write a story and I need to know these things. So I'm seeing that these two guys on the neighbor table, and they look already a bit strange. They're like in these trench coats. They're real like spy, secret police kind of type of guys, Stasi. And they're sitting on the neighbor table, both big guys, Turkish guys. They're sitting there. And I can see how they are looking over all the time. And they're really looking at us, and they're watching us. And at one point, after 20 minutes, they get up and they come over and they talk to her in Turkish. And they're really aggressive. I mean, I didn't understand the word, but they were super aggressive. And then I asked her, what did they say? And she said, they said, if I continue to talk bad about Erdogan, I will have a problem. And so let's go somewhere else. And I was like, wow, this is really impressive. I mean, this would never happen to you in Moscow. What I'm talking about is I met I worked for the richest guy in Russia. I mean, not the richest guy is Putin, but I worked for one of the official richest guys. His name is Potani. I worked for another rich guy who is not even on the Forbes list or anywhere because he doesn't want to be. He's paying or Google. If you Google his name is Andrei Cheklakov. He will not appear. He pays Google that you cannot find him. Can you imagine? He's super rich, this guy. And I worked for these guys, and I had lots of stories with them, inside stories. And there is Oleg Deripaska, he's in my book. He's also a really big guy. There is the Agalarovs. I worked with them. I know them. The son of these are also, I have to say this, these are guys who were involved in this Trump campaign. Who were sponsoring these ads, for example, on Facebook to get Trump into power. They were involved in that, and they were also the people that Trump's closest people were talking to. It was not Putin, it was those people, but they're close to Putin. So if you talk about these guys, they're dangerous, and you have to be careful what you say, and you can only say so much. But you can go on the street and you can say, I don't like Putin, and it's not a problem. Unless yesterday there was a protest against Putin and for Navalny. And if you go there, of course, you get a problem, especially as a foreigner.
More if you are foreigners, that's what you just answered. More if you are foreigners than if you're Russian or what?
No, it's either or. I mean, if you go to these protests as a foreigner, if I go there, then I will get not only beating, but they will cancel my visa and keep me out of the country because I get involved with their internal shit. And basically, they're saying, even so, I'm here since, and I would fight this, of course, because I have my daughter here who's Russian. And my argument is always that I can get involved in your shit. The Russian argument is always, you're a foreigner, we are Russians, don't get involved in our shit. You cannot criticize us. You cannot say anything against our system or what we're doing. And I'm saying I'm here 17 years. I have a lot of Russian friends. And most of all, since 7 years, I have a Russian daughter, half Russian. So I care about you guys. And I think I earned the right to criticize you. And you can criticize my Germany too and my German bullshit and what we are doing. And actually, Europe is doing a lot of bad stuff to Russia as well. So it's not perfect either. So But what I'm saying is, you can freely talk about this, and I have FSB is like the Stasi here. It's like the internal secret police, and I have really good relations with them, and I have to talk to them very often when I have journalists here, because I take care of journalists when they come to Russia, and they're basically saying you can do whatever you want in terms of TV production or movies, as long as you say the truth. We just don't like if you create any bullshit which is not true. Sure, there are some exceptions. You don't have to come close to this fucking palace of Putin and talk about it, or you don't have to talk about Navalny right now is something that they really don't like, or what they also don't like is what fuck. Olympics, doping Olympics, of course, that's also not okay. And if you stay away from these things, and then you can say and do whatever you want. You just got to be a little bit careful. But if I told you I had a story with the Colombian truck cartel and with some Russian guys, and I will not say anything else about it. But that's a very interesting, really, really cool story. I mean, I didn't get involved. Of course, I just watched it from the outside, but because some of my friends were involved in that, I was very close to that. I saw everything, and it ended very badly. And that's a very interesting story, which I would love to write, but I think I can
What
only
do you?
do
What
that.
do you? I mean, now you basically
In
for
20 years, I can write that.
for what I understood, you are basically you are involved in DJ, in doing performance, sound, and writing. I mean, that's what you basically involving at the moment.
I have many different professions. I need to make a living too somehow. I mean, I'm a creative person, and I made money. I told you I made like 12,000 euros with it at the end, 13,000 euros with the book. But I'm not writing a book every year. And even if I would write that in Moscow, you must have yeah, 3 to 5,000. Actually, to really live halfway okay, you should earn like $5,000 a month. So you must really work and make some stuff in order to survive. So I'm not only doing my creative work as a DJ. I also don't make so much money. I mean, I make okay money, but it's not so much.
And in your position of being foreigners in Russia, you don't get any help from the government. I mean, there isn't any like assistance for people, like if you need help or something. I mean, there is some sort of social help or not?
For COVID, you mean right now?
No, I'm asking in case you don't, in case you, but in general, no, in case a person doesn't have enough income to live, or doesn't have a work, because for example now maybe the COVID didn't allow you to work. I mean, the government help. There is any help or not?
No, nothing. No. And the funny thing is that you pay unemployment, you pay into the pension fund, but you're not eligible to receive any of that. You pay for the Russians if you pay taxes. Yeah, I mean, there are ways to avoid to pay taxes in Russia, or not to pay so much taxes, but you pay for the Russians. Yeah, and you're not very. I mean, in a way, they're friendly, but you're not very welcome. And it's really tough place to be, I have to say. But I love this. I mean, it was the same in New York, and I love this challenge, and I love this.
You mean it was? I mean, the comparing the New York time and the Russian time, you feel is pretty much the same.
It's pretty much the same. Actually, it's worse here than in New York. I mean, remember this fight in New York that we never had. No matter how much money you make, it's never enough money. And it's pretty much the same in Moscow. And the good thing about Moscow as New York is that you will always find a way to make money, because it's such a big city, and you meet so many people, and there's always an opportunity. But it's not easy. You constantly need to move. You constantly need to reinvent yourself. And now with COVID, for example, nobody gives you nothing. There is no support from the government, not even for Russians. Nobody gets anything. I mean, they gave parents with kids, they gave a one-time fee of 10,000 rubles. And now, 1 year later, they give you another time 10,000 rubles for your kid. That's it. 10,000 rubles, that's equivalent of around 110 euros right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a one-time fee, and that's it. And so you don't have to expect anything. And even it's the same for Russians. It's not different for them. So we're all in the same boat. So either you make money or you don't make money. But there is a big solidarity among us with your friends. There's a big solidarity among foreigners right now. A lot of foreigners left. The ones that are still here, they support each other, they help each other, they're there for each other. But it's even among my Russian friends, there's a big solidarity. We care about each other. Even if somebody has COVID, we are asking on the phone with WhatsApp, how are you? Do you need anything? Can we send you something? How do you feel? Are you okay? When I had COVID,
even if they are Russians or if they are from other country, I mean, there is a solidarity.
Yeah, there's no difference. There's no difference. Really, no. And that's what I really like. It's really nice. It's really community, and that's actually maybe something positive about COVID, because before it was not like this. It was a little bit more harsh in Moscow. It was a little bit more not so easy. And now it's more community and neighborhood.
That's one point. That's one point that I also is related to the discussion, about how this COVID, like in any tragedy, even like 9/11, is somehow helped. Maybe less, because 9/11 then became something else probably.
Yeah.
But
it will be the same. It will be the same. Hear my words. It will be the same with COVID. The politicians will use this the same way they used 9/11 to restrict our freedom and our privacy rights.
Oh, they did. Because
already, and they will go further. And it's not going to end. This is not something that's going to go away.
Yeah,
terror is our everyday enemy right now.
It's a big experiment.
As terror is our enemy right now, and we have to be afraid of it. COVID will be our enemy, or anything else, some other pandemic, it will come right
so
now.
You mean it's a continuum after 9/11, after all the mess they made with all Arabic countries, and now they made this other stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about conspiracy theory stuff right now. I'm talking about, I don't know, I don't want to speculate where this virus came from. My personal opinion is that somebody made a mistake. I'm pretty sure it came out of a laboratory, but I think personally somebody made a mistake, was sloppy, and because of that it came out, and because of that we have these problems right now. But there are other theories, I don't know, but I'm sure somebody they will use it. The government will use it. The politicians will use it. The rich guys will use it to restrict our rights, to make more money. And I mean, this is not going anywhere.
We are seeing this because how much is changing with all this pandemic. Rich like farm, like drugs, pharmaceutical, they making that kind of money, the interest, like all this tech, high tech, like Amazon, etc., selling items online. I mean, how much is changing also in terms of economy, economic wise, because some category are losing money, some other parts are making a lot of money. So it's changing all these also in terms of business, etc. Oh yeah, I mean, I think I agree with this.
Yeah, but I think it's a natural development and of our society and of us, and the freedom that we used to have is probably history, unless you go to some countries. Funny enough, by the way, look at freedom right now, since we're talking about it. Look at the freedom that I have in Moscow. I can walk around freely. I can go party. I can go to restaurants. I can go to theaters. I can go into a gallery. everything is open. It comes for a very high price. I told you that almost 500,000 of people died, more, 500,000 more people died last year than the year before, and I would assume they died on COVID or something related to COVID. So this is a pretty high price Russia is paying for this freedom that they give to their people. But now this is probably one of the most free countries in the world.
Yeah, but no, also is the question is also how much we know, how much those information open and are shared, known by the other countries and other the truth. I mean, the real situation, even in China, what we know. I mean, for real.
Sure, the Chinese don't want to take responsibility because they would have to pay. So, and nobody. The funny thing is that Europe should be very careful with people who are coming from Russia, because everybody here is sick and brings the virus. And I mean, it's kind of closed, but it's not closed. We have every day. We have I heard 5 flights a day, or maybe it's less. But it's about 5 airlines fly frequently to Germany during the week. So they have full flights, they're not empty. So you can imagine how many people are traveling and transporting the virus back and forth, So, but I try not to think about it. I am trying to adjust and adapt, and that's what we were talking about at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think you always need to, something I learned out of 9/11, you need to adapt, you need to do something different, something new, you need to move on and never stand still. And a lot of people have this problem because they are used to their comfort and their life the way it is, and they don't have the ability to make a move and to change, and even little things are already a problem for them, But for me, it's not. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Marcello, I gotta go. I have to. It's already 1 o'clock.
I know. I know that you also you told me you're not feeling well, so I'm actually appreciating that you are here. I mean, that you did anyway, and I'm sorry. All the problems and. But of course, I appreciate all your effort, like always, because you are always very, very friendly and never say no.
No, it was very nice to talk to you and to exchange and to hear your opinion about the art stuff and even the AI stuff that I threw in. And look, we had at one point 800 listeners. That was amazing.
Are you still connected on Instagram?
I sent you the screenshots.
I hope you didn't miss some followers, because I hope this conversation didn't made losing followers.
I didn't get. Actually, I lost 2 followers. I didn't get a single plus, and I lost 2.
Listen, I think that if you go back, if you say another time the history of the kind of porno star, I think you get many followers back.
This was interesting experience for me, and it was what was really interesting for me was to about these 800 people about the algorithm. It was really interesting to me how the algorithm reacted. When we were dropping certain keywords, and I swear I didn't plan this. It just came up into my head, and we were dropping certain keywords. And obviously, this algorithm has some. Even so, I speak a heavy German accent, and you speak Italian accent. The algorithm understood us, and it understood these keywords, and because of that, it pushed these feeds to a lot of people, and it was really like, wow. At one point, I have 4 listeners, and then the next point, I have 300, and I'm like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, then 500.
Then we should do more.
Yeah. But then we said something wrong, and they muted us.
And they muted us.
It's not very democratic of the algorithm that it mutes me if I say if I use the password or something like that.
you said they mute us because you were drinking, or because you said something? What you said? Some bad
no,
word?
it was two things. The first thing was it muted us. Because the main problem was at the end that there was no sound anymore. And my theory, I cannot prove it, is that I used the word fuck or something or shit or whatever, and it was on the blacklist, and the algorithm muted us because of that. Or you used it, I don't know. We said something. I think so, yeah. And then
on Instagram,
finally, it was we had 750 people watching us. And from 1 minute, and I had a beer bottle in the hand and I was drinking, and from 1 minute to another, from 1 second to another, it dropped to 4. It dropped to 4. These are my 4 friends. So the algorithm understood.
All teenagers, all like below 18 years old.
Yeah, the algorithm understood that I have a beer bottle in my hand. This is alcohol. Alcohol is not allowed, and they kicked me out because of that. And that I find very, first I find it interesting that technically the algorithm is so far that it's picture recognition, that it can see in the moving video that I'm drinking a beer, or our accents, it can understand that we're using some cuss words and it's muting us. And but the results out of this to be politically conform with everybody, to shut us up, and as a second step to ban us and to kick us out, is not very correct, I think. And this is something we should discuss too in the future.
Yeah, it's true. The censorship of these socials.
It is censorship, and it's not a human who censors us, it's the fucking algorithm. Oh, I used the word again. Shit.
Anyway, and the discussion is over, is ended.
I'm afraid I ended up on some blacklist because I use these words so often that I will never ever get this experience again. Because the algorithm gave me a one-time chance to perform, and I was not conform, and I'm out. I'm on the blacklist.
My goodness. So it's
all right, it was nice to talk to you.
Me too. Thank you very much. And if you want, we can maybe think another subject or whatever, or maybe we can perform. We can perform, or you can perform if you like. Or next time we'll see.
Let's do that.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Be just take care of your body. Take care of your COVID. Hopefully you don't have, and all the best. All the best.
Grazie. Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Take care.
It was nice to see you, my friend. Ciao.
Ciao.